About, please welcome Matt. So just to give a heads up, Matt's wife is expecting their second child any day, any minute. So if he runs off stage, it may be because of one of my questions, but probably not. But we're going to try to get through this.
I think we'll make it.
Okay, cool. So on a certain Friday in June, a big announcement gets dropped on the press, on everyone. I believe it was a Friday morning because I was off in a car when I see Amazon to buy Whole Foods. I believe you were in the middle of you were in the run up to your IPO at that point?
Yeah, we hadn't yet launched our roadshow yet, but we were getting ready to do that.
Okay, so you see that. I want to know, where are you and what do you think?
Yeah, look, I got a call a little bit before everyone else heard about it, and I think it was an interesting deal. I think the implications of the deal are still, out there and remain to be fully seen in terms of what Amazon's going to do. In some ways it's applicable to our space, and in some ways, obviously, what they're doing is much different than what we're doing. And so, it was interesting timing as it related to our IPO for sure. But didn't change obviously our business strategy and in terms of what we focus on as a company, which is building incredible meal experiences over a long-term time horizon and building a purpose-built infrastructure to do that. And so obviously didn't change the way we think about our company and our business and our strategy.
So that's all great, and then you have investors who, in the midst of this, start thinking that this will in some way have an effect on your business. So I want to know, what were you hearing from investors during that time? Because that narrative was out there that this combination is going to have a big effect on you guys.
Yeah, investors don't tell us everything that they think, obviously. I think...
Tell me.
Yeah, well, look, people are thinking broadly about what is going to happen in the world for online groceries. And I think what's interesting about the Amazon deal, and my interpretation of it, and I think people are still trying to interpret what Amazon's intentions are and what they want to do, but to me what it signifies is, boy, is there a big opportunity out there to tackle online groceries. Boy, do brands matter. Amazon obviously saw value in the Whole Foods brand, and with something like food, where trust and quality and experience really and curation really matter, brands matter. And the other thing it emphasizes is that there's not just one way to tackle a market as big as the food business and the grocery business, right? I mean, it's a gigantic industry. It's crazy to think that people are all going to get their food in exactly the same way or just consume one brand of food for everything they eat all day long. It's such a big market. And so it's not a winner-takes-all market. And I think that's also one of the things that people are interpreting out of that deal. Which is there are now multiple ways that people like us and people like Amazon and other companies believe consumers are going to buy food in the future. And companies need to be thoughtful about approaching consumers in the way they want to be approached and accommodating those different use cases and needs.
So let's talk a little bit about what your product looks like today, who you're serving today,
Yep.
and what it needs to look like a couple of years from now or next quarter to get people to stick around and also to attract people that have different needs in terms of how many meals, what
Yeah.
the meals like, how big their family is. Can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
how you look at the need to diversify and what that looks like?
Well, the history of our company is that we are a 5-year-old business. We actually just hit our 5-year anniversary last month. And it's been incredible what we've been able to accomplish in just 5 years. We went from being 3 guys packing boxes ourselves and begging our friends to try our product to being a nationwide brand that stands for a love of home cooking and that meal experiences and working with farmers. And during that 5-year period, our strategy has really been to get scale. And in pursuit of scale, which was the right thing for us to do.
It seemed like land grab mode.
Well, look, we created an industry that grew really fast and an opportunity that we are the leader in, and we are proud to be the leader in and want to continue to be the leader in. And given that situation we were in, we saw a big opportunity to get scale quickly. And in pursuit of scale, we deliberately were very focused in our product offerings. We have millions of customers today, and we are increasingly trying to design new products and think about new ways to engage our customers in more personalized and targeted ways that accommodate them. Obviously getting scale over 5 years was really important for us to be able to attract capital, to attract talent, to build the supply chain infrastructure and the brand that is continuing to differentiate us from other folks out there and other people in the food world and in the grocery world. But now that we've reached a pretty good size scale, and obviously we still think we can continue to get bigger from a scale perspective, but thinking about our customers and recognizing that not every person is the same, obviously, now that we have more time and more resources to build out that infrastructure, we've been investing a lot in that. So things
let's talk about some of those differences from what the product looked like today or last year, and what you're moving toward to get even a bigger mainstream
The
audience.
most extreme example, in the very earliest days of the business, we had a menu that was 3 recipes every week, and every single customer got the exact same 3 recipes. Today, we have 12 recipes that we offer every single week. Our recipes change every week, and we have a very thoughtful composition of what those 12 recipes are designed for segments. So things like we have a plan designed for 2-person households. We have a plan designed for families. We have a plan where it's more experiential, where our recipes are more discovery-oriented, experience-oriented. We also have faster recipes, 30-minute meals or less on our recipe on our menu every week.
Do 30 minutes does that mean 30 minutes?
It does, yeah. They're really fast. In some cases, we'll do things like pre-chop chicken for you, or produce a pesto sauce for you, or pre-grate your cheese for you. And we design those recipes so that they're more for people who want still something really exceptional, like a chef quality meal, and they're with interesting ingredients they might not know how to work with on their own, but they're meant for a regular weeknight meal if you want something really fast. And so we're thoughtful about that. Obviously, when it comes to cooking, there's an element of individual performance in how fast you cook something. So it does vary a little bit person to person, but we make our 30-minute meals, the ones labeled 30-minute meals, specifically so that it'll be much faster than that in all likelihood.
And do you want to get to a point where a really busy family that may only have time for one Blue Apron meal a week has that option? I mean, is that viable economically for you guys?
Look, everything is viable economically depending on the economic model you create for a given product. And so there are a lot of levers in our business that we are experimenting with. Things like obviously the supply chain and the product design, but also pricing and pricing models that are interesting for us. And we view our business over time becoming a much more generalized offering to customers where we have different things that people want based on their needs. It might be more or less recipes in a given week. We actually just rolled out a significant expansion to our offerings where we allow people to order less or more recipes in a given week, and also have much more flexibility in getting any recipes they want.
Does that mean a la carte grocery is an option?
So a la carte grocery is not something that we offer today, though we do have many a la carte products today on top of our core, quote, subscription, which quite frankly isn't even really a subscription, because when you sign up for our product, you can easily choose what day you get your product on, to not get it in a given week, to get it in a given week, to get more or less recipes in a given week. So we have upsell, we have different personalization opportunities, and then we have a marketplace business where we sell cooking supplies, a couple pantry items, and a very curated selection of other a la carte items also. We do think that a la carte is something that we will be doing more of over time as we think about how to solve different customer segment needs and design products for those segments as well.
And as you get more a la carte, maybe the Amazon Whole Foods combination has more of an impact?
Well, look, we're not going to go and be a head-to-head mass market grocer like Amazon and Whole Foods are trying to be, and we don't want to be everything to everybody. We are a curated brand with a point of view on home cooking, and we want to be a brand that stands for a love of home cooking and that lifestyle that surrounds that. And because of that, we're building something that's emotional and engaging to our customers in a way that if you're just a transactional grocery store, you can never really be. And so I think we feel like we play in a curated lens. We think about our business as a products business, not as a retailer, and not as an e-commerce business. We are a brand that produces original and proprietary products every week, and we see that opportunity.
I feel like that's new messaging, like public market messaging.
No, we had been saying that for some time, and I think that we have been emphasizing those messages to people more now that we're a public company, because I think it's one of the things people don't fully understand about us, quite frankly. And it's that we have an opportunity through building this brand and through having a engaged customer base around our brand to expand in a variety of ways. And we are building a platform from a brand perspective and from a supply chain perspective that allows us to exist in multiple formats in the future and in multiple ways in the future, depending on how customers want to interact with us. So, that has always been part of how we think about our business. But it's been more important, I think, recently to explain that to folks.
Got it. So let's dive in a bit into supply chain. So you have your first earnings announcement recently. You talk about some issues that you've encountered. I think I forget what the word was, but essentially surprise issues, bringing a new warehousing facility up to speed. Yep. And getting some volume through that facility. Is that something you foresaw before you went public? And if not, how did those problems arise?
Yeah, so the story, you're talking about our Linden Fulfillment Center. We built and are in the process of launching a new fulfillment center in Linden, New Jersey, which is our largest and most ambitious fulfillment center that we built today. It has more automated equipment in it, it has more potential for low cost, and it has more capacity and capability for us.
And this is a complicated, you're putting exact measurements of ingredients. So this is not
what we do is very difficult. Yeah. I think that's the other thing people don't fully understand and appreciate about our business. You think about how difficult the grocery business is. There's perishable food. A tomato isn't just a widget. Different tomatoes have different shapes and sizes, and especially when you're working with sustainable farmers directly all over the country like we do, there's a huge amount of quality that goes into taking high-end goods like that and turning them into something that is scalable in a national way, and then every week doing that in a high-quality way and changing our SKU lineup every single week, because we launch 12 new original recipe experiences every week, and the items we work with change because of that. And so we built a lot of systems that allow us to manage that in a flexible way. One of the reasons we do that is because that new content is one of the things that keeps bringing our customers back to us and keeps them excited with and engaged by our brand on an emotional level. That's what I said. At the essence of what we do is we create products. So getting back to the question, yep. Which is what's going on with our Linden Fulfillment Center. Basically, the history there is we spent much of a year constructing that center, getting it ready, and just as we were in Q2, it was a very tiny percentage of our volume. We did our very first deliveries on May 15th there. In Q2, it was like 3% of our systems volume. The potential for that center is for it to be something like 50% of our systems volume. And it was the first time we launched something that ambitious. So I think we were a little overly optimistic with how quickly we can get that from 0 to 50% of our volume.
And what's the challenge? Is it the hiring? Is it the
it's a couple
new
things.
Processes?
Look, anyone who's ever launched a new fulfillment center or a new manufacturing plant knows that these things take time, and there's always some unexpected complexity to it, and that's what we encountered. I think some of that is related to the hundreds of new employees we have there who we're training and introducing new processes to new systems we have there, new sort systems and new food manufacturing equipment that just take a little bit of time to get up and running, all the way through just some process tweaks and optimizations that will allow the center to, continue to scale. And in the meantime, we have 2 centers on the East Coast, one in Jersey City and one in Linden, and there's obviously some incremental cost that we're incurring by having 2 centers up and running, and our plan is to hopefully complete that transition, as quickly as we can, and continue to scale up Linden and ultimately make that our lowest cost operating center.
And the other question on this thread relates back to the timing of the IPO. So you have these issues pop up. You have the Amazon Whole Foods thing, which you didn't foresee. why did you go public when you did? Was it mainly a need for capital?
No, I think the reason that we went public is because we believe that being public makes our business stronger. And I think we have a very long-term oriented view to what we're trying to accomplish with our brand and our platform. And I talked about some of the expansive opportunities that we do see for our brand and company to play in the lives of every American who wants to cook in some way. And we're in it for the long run. We have a decades-long vision for what we're trying to do. And so when we go public, it's just a matter of when we had the opportunity to go public. We had been working on going public, and we're ready to go public. And so, if we had gone public a couple months earlier, a couple months later, quite frankly, that was not the most important thing to us. We wanted to go public so we can raise capital. We wanted to go public so we can have a stock price that we can use to attract talent, people, and the like, and grow the profile of our company to set it up for long-term success, access to capital markets, et cetera. So, I'm happy that we did go public. I think one of the things people don't talk enough about is the accomplishment that I feel, in the sense of pride that I feel in having built a business over 5 years.
I'm the wrong person for that.
No problem. Over 5 years to have built the business into a public company like we did. And look, people still haven't seen all of the things that we hope to do over time, and we have a long-term orientation to it.
When you go from, so a couple years ago, raised money at a private market, $2 billion valuation, look today, market cap around maybe $1 billion or so. Do you have to spend extra time internally explaining either why this does matter, why this doesn't matter? Like, what is that like?
Look, communication is probably the number one job of a CEO in a lot of ways. And
even more now than before?
Look, we have a company that is going through a period of change, right? Going from a private company to a public company is different, and there's a lot of change management associated with that. Certainly we're not the first company to ever have a stock price go up and down or be volatile, and I think many great companies have gone through that. So I think in terms of internally, it's about putting into context what we're trying to do. We have a really passionate group of employees who are focused on Blue Apron's mission and vision and are proud and inspired by the impact that we are having in home chefs all over the country. We get emails every week from our customers telling us things like, "You've changed my life, you've saved my marriage, you are helping me bond with my kids." We have people who have us be part of wedding proposals with people that they're looking to marry. These are incredibly powerful human moments that are dependent on food and home cooking, and that is what our employees get really excited about. And so being clear with people about this is our vision, this is what we're trying to accomplish, is what we need to be doing internally, and people get that and are ready to execute and ready to work hard. I think certainly making sure that people are focused on our top priorities is another big part of that, and we've been doing a lot of discussion and communication internally to make sure that people are prioritizing our number one things and staying focused on execution.
So this space right now, Amazon, we have Amazon Whole Foods over here. We have a lot of traditional grocers trying to figure out, how to get more digital in a lot of ways. And we have reports of grocery companies sniffing around some of your competitors. Have you guys been approached at all during this process? I'm assuming as the stock price goes down, you get inbound.
Look, we talk routinely with companies about partnerships and opportunities, and I mentioned to you that we don't see Blue Apron as just a e-commerce only brand. We are a brand that can exist in multiple formats and multiple ways over time. And we're
Which
always
means
interested
what?
in just
storefronts.
That's one example. Another example is we have a cookbook coming out, and our cookbook is going to be on Amazon and on in retailers. We have a variety of products that could exist in different in-store formats. We have a partnership that we work with Costco on, and you can buy Blue Apron gift cards in Costco. You can get Blue Apron on different people's registries. There's a whole variety of ways that we see opportunity to work collaboratively with other brands, especially retailers, and other e-commerce businesses because that's a channel and we're a brand and a product creator. And so I think we're always open to exploring opportunities like that.
What's the case to remain independent?
Well, look, I mean, we're going after a gigantic market opportunity. And we think we are in the very earliest innings of a gigantic transformation of the offline food industry, which is where most of food is bought and sold today, to increasingly being digital. And new brands that are interacting with consumers in ways where they're shifting their preferences from some of the old brands of last generation to new, more modern brands that are more emotional, more interactive, more health-oriented, more sustainability-oriented, more impact-oriented in what those brands are trying to accomplish. And that's not a short-term opportunity. That is a gigantic, decades-long opportunity as more and more dollars move online, as new brands capture share from old brands by addressing changing consumer demand. And the market that we're going after is so big that we believe we can successfully build a business over many, many decades that will be a substantial company. And so that's what we're trying to do.
I have a bunch more questions, but I want to get the audience involved. If we have some questions right now, you can make your way up to one of the mics. Otherwise, I will keep going. So I wonder about, just back to the logistics of making this business work. And again, not to harp too much on acquisition talk, but it seems like you have a lot of, there are a lot of unique skill sets in your facilities and processes that could be valuable to bigger companies. And then on the other hand, at a very high level, you have bigger companies with, physical reach and, mainstream customer bases. Would there be downsides to a combination?
It's really hard to speculate wildly. I think, like I said, there are certain partnerships, combination or not a combination, there are certain partnerships that can be valuable. And we've done some of those. And we're always looking for opportunities to do things. Certainly distribution, especially in other channels where we're a dominantly e-commerce based business today. That's one of the things that we're really good at today. We're great at creating products. We're great at branding. We're great at these experiences. But we're also really good at merchandising groceries online. Yep. And that's kind of what recipes are for us. They're ingredient merchandising, and our ability to generate demand and engage customers in an online format is something we're really good at. What we don't do a lot today is sell in other channels. So certainly there's opportunities for us to think about how our brand might exist there in the future. And other people have a lot of experience in that. What's the biggest challenge to getting people to once they try the service, to stick with it? Well, what we hear so we have a dynamic in our business, especially in our core product and our meal experiences, where people try us out, and then some people obviously stick with Blue Apron and make it their lifestyle. They cook with us incredibly frequently, and we generate very large amounts of revenue per customer, especially when you benchmark us versus other kinds of e-commerce businesses, other retail businesses, and the like. And then there are some folks who try us out, and they either cease ordering or order less frequently on an ongoing basis. It's really interesting because when you speak with those folks, what you hear is, I love Blue Apron. You have an amazing brand, you have an amazing product, but I needed this, that, or this other feature to make it work for me. Something like a specific dietary preference, or something like a different cadence, or a different speed, or a different serving size. And that is the direct result of how focused we've been over the last 5 years in pursuit of scale. And one of the big opportunities for us as we roll out more options on our menu and increasingly use all the data that we're collecting on our customers to know them better and recommend recipes better to them is to address people in that earliest part of the funnel where they've tried Blue Apron, they like Blue Apron, they like what we do, but they needed this or that. And actually that's the thing that if we address really well, will give us the biggest leverage on average across all of our customers on a unit economic perspective. So it's a really interesting opportunity for us. Got it. I'll keep going for a couple more. So we have, part of your earnings announcement that people will look at closely in your S1 was marketing spend.
and then I believe you're going to ramp down marketing spend a bit in the second half of this year. Can you talk about sort of how dependent you feel the company is now versus it should be on marketing long term as both a new customer acquisition tool and bringing people back?
Yeah, well, marketing is not that complicated at the end of the day in terms of how we think about it. You know, we are very focused on generating attractive returns on our marketing, and we are highly analytical about how we do that. So we spend on an acquisition basis. We try to target marketing to get certain payback targets that we'd like. And payback targets are dependent upon a number of factors for us, like revenue per customer, margin per customer, and the like. And so when we're doing something like, for instance, scaling up a very substantial fulfillment center, which incurs additional costs for us on the margin side in the meantime.
Unexpected costs in some cases?
Well, unexpected certainly relative to the timing of the IPO and the Q2 earnings release. But we had expected some additional costs associated with that, and then we uncovered some additional costs. That is one of the reasons why we were rethinking and have rethought some of the way we're spending our marketing in the going forward quarters. So that's what we said on the earnings call. And that's because we are very thoughtful about how we spend our marketing. Now, there's other kinds of marketing. There's acquisition marketing, and there's also
You're propping up the whole podcast industry. So
we love podcasts. We love podcasts. One of the cool things about podcasts for us, actually, is that because our business is experiential, having someone talk about, Blue Apron and explain Blue Apron and give their personal stories and experiences around Blue Apron has been a great marketing vehicle for us. It's also why our referral program has been a major driver of our business historically. And the referral program, doesn't cost any marketing dollars. Obviously, it costs, product and trial boxes, and we can activate our own customers. That's a great channel for us. But there's other kinds of marketing as well, and we're getting a lot more sophisticated internally and are trying to invest more internally on what we call product marketing, which is segmenting our large base of existing customers who have credit cards down with us, who have relationships with us, who have, we understand their preferences, and segmenting them and working with them to generate incremental ongoing revenue and monetizing them on a revenue per customer basis better through more thoughtful non-paid marketing campaigns.
Okay.
And so there's a whole work stream on that as well, which is really important to us, and that we're also focused on.
But you're staying in podcasts.
We routinely re-optimize. We love podcasts, as I said, but if our marketing team is doing their job, they're always looking at how do we get the best returns. And as I mentioned, we care a lot about marketing returns. So they're always looking at where those marginal returns are. And when we scale up or scale down our budgets, that's how we evaluate it. And podcasts have historically done pretty well for us. And we're continuously being optimal there.
All right, well, we'll have to do this again in about another year, and we'll have a lot more to talk about.
That would be great.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're going to have a quick 10-minute break downstairs in the all-day cafe, so we have some snacks for you all, and we'll be back up here with some more programming. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Jason said, we will take a 10-minute break. We will resume our meeting at 11:25, where we will hear from Forerunner Ventures founder Kirsten Green, Pinterest president Tim Kendall, and celebrity chef Mario Batali and others. We'll see you back here at 11:25. Thank you.